I'll make this bigger. You get bigger. There we go. All right. Hi, guys. All right, I'm going to do a set of notes here. Remember in class on Friday, we ended up stumbling across this new way of calculating slope. So some of you guys liked it so much that I wanted to go ahead and give you a set of notes about how to do it. So this set of notes is going to be all about what I call the slope formula. Okay, so how can we find the slope by using this formula or equation? So I'm just going to write it out first, and then I'll explain the different parts of it, okay? So slope is going to be equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, so let's think about what that means. I'm going to draw out all right, we're just going to do a little graph here to show what that means. Now let's remember, with just a graph, so if there's no labels on this, this is just like an algebra class, okay? This is the x-axis, this is the y-axis, okay? So let's draw, let's say like 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's just say that I had a point like right here at 2, 3, and I had a line like this. Okay, so here's my line, and I want to find the slope of that line. You got the big eyes? That's cool. Okay. All right, so I want to find the slope of that line. Well, I'm first going to name my 2 points. All right, well, I know this is 0, 0. And then up here, this is just 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2. All right, so hopefully we all are kind of okay at naming points. Now, once I have those 2 points named, now my slope formula gets a lot easier, okay? So what this slope formula here means, okay? Let's do this. All right, so the y's are just the y coordinates, okay? So like y2 is the y coordinate of the second point. Now let's remember, okay, that's x and that's y. We always do y second, okay? So x, y. Now what's important here is that I've got 2 points. I've got my first point and my second point. So that I can differentiate between the x's, I'm going to say this is the x for my first point. Do you guys see that? And then this is the x up here for my second point. And this is the y for my first point. And this is the y for my second point. Okay, so now I've got things that match, right? So I said I've got y2, right? Well, y2 is the same as this y2, which is just 2. Okay, now I've also got y1, so that's the same as this y1, which is just 0. Okay, now I've also got x2, which is the same as this x2, which is just 3. And then I've got x1, which is the same as this x1, which is just 0. Okay, so now I can take it and just plug my numbers in. All right, so I know that slope is going to be equal to y2 is 2, y1 is 0, x2 is 3, and x1 is 0, okay? So that's going to make 2 minus 0 is 2, 3 minus 0 is 3, so my slope is 2/3. Okay, so there's like a super simple example of how to use this slope formula. Now let's look and see how this applies to what we're doing right now, to acceleration. Okay, so I'm going to go down here and I'm going to rewrite the slope formula. Okay, so slope equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay. But now, and so here we've got x and y, right? But when in our unit, we don't write in x, right? This is time, this is t. And we don't write in y, this is now velocity, okay? So I'm going to replace my x's with t's, all right? So, well, here, let's do this. So, all right, instead of writing y2, I'm going to write v2. Instead of writing y1, I'm going to write v1. Instead of writing x2, because x turned into t right here, okay, I'm going to write t2. And instead of writing x1, I'm going to write t1. So now this is changed. It's the same formula. It's still using the x-axis and the y-axis, but I'm not using those letters anymore. Now I'm using v's and t's, okay? And the other great thing is we know that it's not just slope anymore, okay? For a velocity versus time, remember that slope is equal to acceleration. So now acceleration is equal to v2 minus v1 over t2 minus t1. Now, that might seem like it's doing too much in the words of you young people today, but let's see how it can help us out. Okay, so I want to do a couple of examples here. I'll get up right on this line. All right, so I'm going to add. I've got a picture here. This. All right, and let's put that just below my picture so you guys can see it. Okay. Oh man, that's kind of bad quality too, isn't it? I wonder if I make it bigger if that'll help. Ooh. Okay, maybe not. All right, well, you guys can see that. All right, so let's say I want to find the slope of this section here, A. Okay, well, let's do that. So I know, or it's not the slope, but the acceleration. So I know that acceleration is going to be v2 minus v1 over t2 minus t1. Now remember, okay, so I want to label my points. So I know I've got a point here, and that's going to be 0, 0. And I've got a point here, and that looks like it's, oh, let's see, 5 is there, 6 is there, that's 7. And then, let's see, so 4, 8, 12, 13 is there, 14 is there, 7, 14. Okay, so now I've got my 2 points. All right, now all I have to do is plug stuff in. Okay, so my second velocity is, let's see, so these are up and down. My second velocity is right there, 14. Okay, my first velocity was right there, 0. Oops, first velocity, all right. Now my second time was right there, which makes 7 seconds, okay. And then my first, oh no, not that color, this color. There we go. My first time was this, 0. I'm all kinds of messed up on my colors here. Sorry, you guys been looking at the top of my head for a while? There we go. All right. Oh, is it frozen? Oh, you just can't see it very well on the screen. That's all right. All right, so I've got 14 divided by 7. So here my acceleration is 2. Now, let's look at this and let's remember that this is 14 centimeters per second and 7 seconds. So this is going to be centimeters per second, or you could write centimeters per second squared. That would work as well. Okay. Now let's find, before I let you go, let's find the velocity for this section right here. Okay. And again, I'm going to zoom in. Oh, I don't know why it never have to zoom in. I'm going to zoom in. And I'm just going to go ahead and erase these because you guys don't need this stuff. Okay. And I'm going to put a dot there and a dot there. Now, here's where this formula can get really useful. Okay. So I know that this first dot, oh gosh, I hate when it does that, is there, which looks like it's, let's see, it's like 10, 11, 12. Okay, so this is 12. And then, yep, 14. And then this one is 20. And then 8. All right, so, I'm going to zoom out. And I know that acceleration is v2 minus v1 over t2 minus t1. All right, well, my second velocity is 8. My first velocity is 14. Okay. My second time, all right, so the second one, and that's time, 20, minus my first time, which is 12. Oops, I messed that up. That should be T1. T1. All right, so T1 is 12. All right, so now I've got 8 minus 14. Now that, folks, is negative 6. And 20 minus 12 is a positive 8. Okay, so you could punch this in your calculator, you could reduce it, but what we're going to end up with is negative 0.75, and that's going to be centimeters per second, okay? And we know that it's got to be negative because this line here is downhill. Okay, so now you guys are going to give this a try. Thanks for watching.